Okay. Hi, I'm Sarah Shoup from UniversityParent, and today we're live with Nancy and Nadine from Complete Candidate to talk about how parents can best support their student to graduate with a job. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having us.
You bet. Nadine, do you want to start off and just tell us a little bit
Sure.
about yourself and your background?
Yep. My name is Nadine Bilotta, and I had an 18-year career out of college with Federated Department Stores. And after that, I went to work for a recruiting company. And in 2000, Nancy Thomas and I started the Loft Group, and we placed all over the country in every single industry. And about 3 years ago, we started Complete Candidate because we noticed there was definitely a need for recent college graduates and college upperclassmen to be trained on how to find jobs. And since then, we've helped over 600 people. Our program has a 98% success rate. And we're really excited to talk with parents today about our program and how to help their students.
Great. Thank you so much. Nancy, do you want to tell them a little bit about yourself and your background?
Oh, no.
Okay. We'll just keep going then. All right. Nadine,
Sure.
go ahead.
It's Thomas and my circle.
Okay. Nadine, I'll let you take back over. What do you think a parent can do to really help their student graduate with a job?
Well, I think, one of the things to note is that 33% of today's graduates do not have a job or a go-forward plan upon graduation. So that's 67% of today's 1.9 million graduates that are leaving college without a job or a post-degree plan. And so, and many of them are underemployed, 45%. And some accounts are saying as high as 51% are underemployed. So one of the first things that I think a parent can do is to guide them to our program. But other than that, I think that there's a lot of things that are going on campus that parents need to help their students learn about, whether it's job postings, career fairs, events that are going on from companies that they're hosting, but to really make your student aware that there are things going on campus that, everyone should be able to partake in, not just, 10% of the class. And so it's really an important focus that parents have to really work with their students on.
Great. And can you give us an example of something on campus that might be happening that a parent should encourage their student to check out or to attend?
Well, there's links from a college career office called Handshake. I think almost every single school in the country has Handshake, and you can look on that and see, what are the events, who's coming to campus, who's going to be hosting a coffee or even a drink, drinks after school. So people really need to, those events don't come and find you. You have to go find the events. Sometimes you have to sign up for them. So it's really important to, know what's going on. And so I think that that's sometimes a real push for kids because they don't really realize how they have to drive it and they have to know what's going on.
Definitely. And you mentioned that parents should work with you in your program. Can you tell us a little bit about how Complete Candidate works with students?
Yeah, so we love to start working with students when they're still in college because then we know we can affect their after graduation plan. And we have a whole chapter in the book that we have a workbook that's the centerpiece of the training. And we have a whole chapter in the book that details everything for making the most out of a college career day, let's say. And it talks about how do you plan for the event? How do you know where to look? How do you know who's going to be there? How do you research? How do you sign up? A lot of times there's deadlines. You have to sign up before, a week before the event, and people don't know that, and then they get boxed out. How do you prepare for the event? What kind of research do you do? How do you, have yourself ready in terms of what you're going to wear, your resumes, your contact information? How do you prepare the day of the event? How do you go through the event? And so many kids avoid these events because they feel like they don't know what to do. They don't know how to make small talk. They don't know who they're going to see or how they're supposed to behave. So they just avoid the event completely. And meanwhile, we give them a step-by-step process on what to do to go to the event and to really maximize it. We talk about post-event protocol, and then also how to find internships and jobs if a company's not coming to campus. We have a whole section on that. So it's very comprehensive, and a lot of students feel like they don't want to, interrupt their college career, or they don't want to interrupt what they're doing. And it's so much easier to do it now while they're in school as opposed to when they graduate and then they don't have anything to put on a resume, and then it becomes really frustrating and overwhelming. So that's why we try to get them now when they're sophomores or juniors or seniors, and we can affect their internships in the summer and affect, if they're seniors, how they're going to graduate with a job. We think that's the most important thing.
Absolutely. Great. Thank you for those tips. Those are great. So one of the things I think is tricky for families, it's like, of course, every parent wants their student to be able to get a job upon graduation, but how can they really encourage their student to make their post-graduation career plans a priority while they're in college? Do you have any tips and tricks that parents can use without being too involved in the process, but really like, what's the right touch for that?
I think that, usually around October, November of senior year, I think like the banks and the financial services firms start extending offers. And so students start hearing about, oh, so-and-so got a job, this one got a job, I didn't get a job. And they start to get a little panicked, but then they think, oh, I have a whole half a year left, I don't have to worry. But I think if a student does bring that up, or if a parent says to the student, have you heard of anybody getting job offers? Then they can open up the dialogue and they can say, you can graduate with a job too, even though you're not in finance, or even if you are in finance, but you can start to do things now that will affect your final semester, and it'll be so great to to have a job lined up in January or February, and then you can enjoy the rest of your semester and graduate with a job. So I think to try and open up the dialogue and ask about other students or other classmates, are people getting job offers that you've heard of? You can then open up the dialogue. But I think the dialogue is really important to have. And listen, everybody's graduating. You're going to graduate. You're going to be looking for a job. It's not like it's a secret. So you might as well bring it up and talk about it.
Right. Great. And can you talk to us a little bit about some of the things that students can do while they are in college, such as an internship, and ways to really build their resume that are effective for getting that job post-graduation?
We see a lot of people, and we work with a lot of people that have absolutely nothing on their resume. Like they graduated and those 4 years they did nothing. So I would encourage them, get involved in events, whether it's volunteering or even being a professor's assistant or going to different events, being involved on the sports end. There's a lot of events there's a lot of things that someone can do with sports, whether it's, to tutor the athletes or be part of the film division, anything. Also, the classes that they take, if they're taking a capstone or any kind of advanced thesis, that we can use that on their resume. But I think that it's really important to have something to put on a resume. And internships are the best thing because they not only tell you what you like to do, but they can also provide you with insight of what you don't want to do. So internships are very important. And those all those companies are interviewing on campus now, October, November, December, and looking for students for the following year. So it's never too early to get involved in that. And then, I know a lot of people don't utilize their career office, but it's a very important and useful avenue for people to go to on campus and hear about who's going to be there, or hear about what jobs are being posted, or alumni relations, or that a lot of alumni come back to campus looking to hire. So that's another really important avenue to pursue.
Mm-hmm. Great. Okay, thank you. And when you're talking to parents about, why to use your program or not to use it, what are some examples of things that a parent might ask you about, or some of the reasons that you talk through with them so that they feel more comfortable working with you all?
Well, I think that they would know that Nancy and I have a ton of experience, and we are really we're very invested in all of our clients and all of their success, and we try to hold their hand every step of the way. And so we kind of take it off the parent's plate. The parent then doesn't have to worry about asking, or if they feel like they're nagging. None of that is going to be part of it anymore, because we're going to take over that. And sometimes we do take on the nagging, did you get this done? But we try not to. I mean, we try to make it really fun. We try to make it enlightening for them, and ultimately that they get jobs and then they're successful.
Mm-hmm. Great. Okay, thank you. One of the other things that we've talked about before is how you can really help a student present themselves well, whether they're an athlete and they haven't had a lot of internship or job experience, or they've been in the arts. I remember you talking to me about a teacher before, or someone that wanted to be a teacher and using her experience.
Mm-hmm.
Can you share with parents a little bit about how you really help bring out the best in students and really demonstrate their capabilities and things that they've done and present them in a way that's interesting for a recruiter?
I would love to. I don't know if Nancy, can you, do you want to answer that?
I would love to, if you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Fabulous. I think that what Nadine and I do best is we help kids realize their value and then show them how that translates to the employer, or even more specifically to the job types that they're looking toward. And so we'll talk to them about past experiences and successes. They could be academic, they could be internships, and they'll be able to then be able to articulate those experiences in a way that describes their activities that they've already performed to match the activities that they're looking to perform in their next step. So we help them with their language, with their packaging, with the way that they articulate their value, so that it matches and is that step toward their goal, if that makes sense.
And I would like to add that, we can find something in everyone. We can find something to put on a resume and something that can match up with a job description. We really work very hard to get to know them and to really understand what they want to do. And then we'll take anything that they've done, even if it, like I said before, volunteer work or assisting a professor or even their capstone project. We will take everything we can to help them package themselves so that they are going to be appealing to a future employer. And that's really, really important. And I think that we do that better, better than anyone.
And I think what happens then with the student, with the candidate, is that they start to become consistent. That creates a confidence in the way that they present themselves and even the way they feel about themselves. They really start to believe, because we're connecting the dots for them and making all the connections to show them this is what you've done and this is how it marries with what you want to do. They're then able to have the confidence and the consistency in, telling their tale to an employer.
And sometimes someone thinks that they don't have relevant experience, like take an athlete who's been so busy and hasn't had any time to have an internship or anything. And meanwhile, companies love to hire athletes because there's so many different intrinsic values that they have that, we help them pull that out as well. And we help them enhance that.
Everybody has transferable skills and passions, and we really try to tap into those and really, showcase those. And once you get somebody believing in themselves, it really helps, the momentum and helps them get going towards success.
I agree.
Great. I think one of the big things for students is that, they're scared, right? So it's like they've gone through college, they've done all this work, and they need to get a job, and maybe they feel uncertain about it, but certainly they're worried because there's a lot at stake and they may get rejected. Can you talk a little bit about how you coach students through that process and really help, not just building their confidence, but just sharing your experience from, years of hiring people and working with students that need to get a job, kind of what that looks like for them?
I think that when people feel prepared and people feel confident in, like I was saying before about how to go into a job fair and what to do and what to do before the event, what to do the day of the event, what to do when you're at the event. I think when people feel prepared, they automatically exude confidence and they start to feel like, this is my story, this is me, this is what I can do. And so I think that that's really a big part of what we do is to prepare them for every single aspect of their job search. And that ends up yielding some, it definitely ends up cutting back on their fears and their, their feeling of, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know how to do this. I'd just rather not bother at all. So
a lot of times their fear is manifested more in like they're paralyzed, because they just don't know where to start. So really digging in with Nadine and I, and we're able to show them different job types, different environments, different industries that excite them, that appeal to them, and also jobs within those that, they're reading the daily descriptions and the responsibilities, and they're saying to themselves, I can do that. That would be fun. I know I can do that. It's not such a mystery. I think the fear comes from, we always tell kids, fear is false evidence appearing real, because really they're just telling themselves there's nothing out there for me. I don't even know what I'm going to do. But, use us, use the resource of, years and years of recruitment experience coupled with training. And, there you have it. It's really the secret sauce, we call it.
Great.
I also think that people, a lot of students don't know what they want to do. And so Nancy and I we've had a lot of experience, and 600 people now. We've had a lot of experience of talking to people and helping to guide them. Many times we'll cast a very wide net because there's a couple of things that someone can do. But I think we've gotten really strong at saying to someone, okay, this is what you want to do. This is what would make you happy every day. We really can guide you into this career, and you'll be very successful and very happy. And we've had a lot of good successes that way.
And if I'm being honest, I've been doing that for 30 years. I mean, honestly, it is like my intuitive skill. I can talk to you and say, you know what, have you ever thought about doing this? Or you should do this. And so, going into employment services and recruiting, and, we even had, when Nadine and I worked together for a large employment service firm, there was also a contract desk. So very high transaction, being able to recall talent to fit, a job opportunity. And so, so what's innate in somebody like myself or Nadine is such a resource, because here we're sitting with people that don't even know what their options are. And we've been exposed, and our breadth and depth of experience can, rattle off 20 different options for somebody. And then they start to examine those and research them. And that's when they really get engaged and excited.
Right.
Great. Okay, well, shortly we're going to open it up for parents to ask questions. But before we do that, if we do have parents that are interested in having their son or daughter work with you, what's the best way for them to contact you?
I think by email would be, or if they just go to our website, they'll get all of our contact information. So our website is www.completecandidate.com. And they'll find our phone numbers, our email addresses, and a lot more information about the company. And then they can contact us.
Great. Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we open it up for parent questions?
I just want to apologize for my connectivity.
But now it's perfect.
That's great. Because I didn't give up. And that's what we do with these candidates is we just have them keep plugging along. We're working with somebody now that should have been wrapped up about 3 months ago, but this particular candidate just works at a slower pace. We don't go away, and we don't let them give up. And that's why we're successful with them every time.
Awesome. Great. Okay, well, thanks so much. So we're going to go ahead and open it up to parent questions so people can type their questions, and Nancy and Nadine will give their input. Thank you so much. And yeah, go ahead and start typing away. Thanks.